Welcome back to another episode of Unranked Podcast. You have Grant, got Elijah. We're going to touch on today. People haven't heard already. Pistons finally sounds like they're very close, if not already. Got Monty Williams signed and locked up to be the head coach of the Pistons for the next six or more years. Big, huge contract. Very, very excited, very optimistic. Just kind of seeing, what he was able to do with the Suns. In that quick, short period of time. Yeah, I'll throw it over to you, Eli. Just want to kind of see your thoughts on Monty Williams. Just what you think of him as a coach, and how you see him fitting. Just with this young Pistons team that we're looking to hopefully take the next step here next couple years.
Yeah, I think that's what I think this coaching hire would and should do is get us to that next step, that next gradual step, which would be, put together a play-in type run. Get you to a respectable amount of wins, somewhere in the 30s. Help the fan base out, help the team out, get them a little bit of confidence, and then look to build from there. I think this is I think we see the diamond in the rough as far as the roster, as far as the cap space available, as far as just how we've been robbed of some wins as far as injuries and things of that nature, where if you can keep this roster healthy, along with the money we have available, along with the draft capital we have coming up with the fifth pick, there's a lot of exciting things happening. And I think he probably seen that as well. The $78 million, a very lucrative deal that probably helps the situation. On top, he got 20 million on the back end coming from the Suns still. So he is obviously rolling in the dough, but hopefully he's obviously motivated to come in with this team. And that's what I'm thinking. We were texting over the last couple of weeks, we were as a fan base a little nervous when we were heading into the draft without a coach, heading into the lottery without the coach. I was seeing some conspiracy theorists saying, there's no way in hell the league will give you first overall pick if you don't even have a coach in plan. Things of that nature.
Wow.
Things I didn't think about at all. And so that all gives me positive signs. So I'm excited about it. I think we needed to make a big splash, and for a while it looked like the owner was meddling in things a little too much. That's things I was reading on Twitter, that maybe he was overly involved. But at the end of the day, we went out and got a recent Coach of the Year winner, a recent Finals appearance coach, and he turned around that team in a very short amount of years with a couple of good young pieces and a couple of smart acquisitions as far as like a Chris Paul, and drafting the right players. I think he was probably a part of the Aiden draft, and just kind of took that and slingshotted it into where they are now, where is a contender or it's a disappointment if they don't make it to the championship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was I think I say overall, he was in like a awesome coach and was put in a very good situation just with having like I think his name is James Jones. I think that's their GM, bringing in like drafting guys like Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. And I see a lot of like these players aren't like as like similar, like they don't have all similar play styles like the Pistons, like who we have on the Pistons right now, but we just have guys that like a prime example is just how he was able to kind of unlock Ayton. I mean, I think they had a little bit of beef as far as like towards the end there, but he was able to get quite a bit out of Ayton that year. They made it to the finals, and I'm like, man, you got Wiseman and Duran, Isaiah Stewart. You just have a lot of like players like bigs that could hopefully he can develop the way he was able to get Ayton going a little bit. Obviously Book is like a superstar and doing his thing. Won't put no pressure on no Pistons player quite yet. He got quite a few young guns still, but you hope that like we can kind of get Cade. He can help Cade or Jaden Ivey, take that next step. To be like one of the better two guards or in the NBA, like combo guards in the NBA. And I'm optimistic. I mean, I think back to that bubble run to where they went like undefeated in the bubble, and that's all they had was Book and Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. And they was a lot younger at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But just what they were able to kind of do there, after getting a little time off in the summer and coming into the bubble and playing pretty well. They didn't get a chance to play in the play-in or anything, but I mean, it even shows that he had them moving in the right direction before Chris Paul showed up. So hopefully we can, get a nice little, have this core, get them tightened up a little bit more. And I don't think this is a big like superstar free agency market, but there's a couple of teams, out there. Like I wouldn't be mad at like a Jalen Brown, somebody that one of those like 1B type stars.
Mhm.
Finding somebody like that, just to be able to get us moving in that right direction a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think we do need the shot in the arm. I think, you know, with this team here over the last couple of years, I would say, it is it has been just turmoil after turmoil after turmoil. You know, blowing draft picks, trading our way a lot of draft capital, going to get Blake. Josh Smith, Josh Smith blowing that, keeping him on the books to like he probably just got off last year. I think it's been
Yeah.
a lot of that. I think so. We have taken the time to eliminate a lot of that. The books are clean. The roster looks good. It's really a matter of keeping these guys healthy. I think.
Yeah.
I could be very naive thinking this, but if you take Cade, Ivy, Duran, Bobin, and all of them guys can play, let's say 65 games, 70 games together, I'm thinking we're winning a good 40% of them games. I
Yeah.
think that's a very that could be a little naive, but I think that's somewhere in that ballpark of what I think this roster is capable of. And when you just look at, we were not that bad. And so if you can get a coach to kind of light a fire under some of these players' asses, motivate them when it's right,
Yep.
educate them when it's right, and then play to win. I don't know how often we've done that recently. I think after Cade went down this past year, I think we kind of said, all right,
Backed it
we
in.
can pack it in again. I think that should not be the case anymore. I think you have enough pieces on this roster to go get something done. And it'd be a shame to waste them. And just looking, the last thing I'm saying is you talk about his Monty Williams increase. So the years leading up to him becoming the coach, they won 23, 24, and 21 games. His first year, they won 19, 34 games. Second year, 51, 64 games.
Yeah.
And then brought it back this year to 45. So
Yep.
you could see that natural stepping stone of almost making it to the very top as far as the championship. Strong letdown there, and you kind of more or less kind of blew up the team this year to kind of swing for the fences. And I think he's kind of just a casualty of that. But if you can go get here and get to work again, I think we have more than enough firing power to put together something. And I just truly do believe in a lot of these players. I think Cade can stay healthy. He's very legit. Ivy's proved it this year. And a lot of players are kind of, we have all those core, and then we have a few players that are just kind of a prove it time. Wiseman, he's got to string together a year this year. He might fall and step out of the league, just like we talked about before we hopped on here. This is a very short leash for the one and done players. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't put together a solid 82 game window in there over the first 3 or 4 years, you might find yourself somewhere else. And I think
Yeah.
he's kind of already at a second destination. That third destination, you end up getting traded for a second round pick, and then you out of there.
Yeah. Downhill.
That's kind of the window, and I think you could add a couple other people on there. Um, uh, Obviously, Killian Hayes. I think he's probably on his way out, regardless of what he can kind of put together. I think if he puts together something well enough for us to keep him, we'll probably try to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of where he is at his spot, and but you never know. He's also still probably but 21, 22. So it's very obvious. We got a lot of players in that window as well, where you kind of got to prove it, put together some stuff here, or you're on your third or your fourth try.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it is just like, I don't know, it's tough because when you're in the lottery and you're kind of like just picking up all these young guys, like it ain't their fault. That's just kind of like
Yep.
we talking about before we hopped on. That's just kind of like the culture that's being created now. So like we are just in this very weird, like volatile like position where we have like guys that aren't panning out all that well that are just kind of there. So
Yep.
you hope that new blood, coming in, new voice. Out like me, he pretty older guy, but like I think just having somebody, I think like kind of like that new voice. I don't think Dwayne Casey was doing anything wrong. I just kind of feel like the only thing he wasn't, I don't think he was doing, he wasn't coaching no damn defense. That's one thing he was doing wrong, was not coaching no defense. But um, I just feel like, as long as like you said, you hit it right on the head. Mike Williams coming motivated, assuming they're gonna have a big chip on his shoulder, just because the way that things kind of went south with Phoenix, kind of getting tossed to the curb. I feel like if we can, yeah, keep people healthy and just try to. I mean, as much as I love this young core, might be time to start to, you know, throw them around here and there and start to just see what we can get for them. But these next couple of years, it's going to be real critical. I think we got to start to kind of start fighting back and not just laying down and hoping for another top 3 pick, the next few seasons.
I agree. I agree with that. And then I second that a lot. I hope we don't find ourselves we're in the same spot where we got to make the right moves, because the other worst thing you can do is, let's say we do rattle off 38 wins this year, and then we drop $50 million a year on, whoever next year, and then blow it all up because we're trying to expedite it that quickly. I think you just got to, whoever the equivalent of Josh Smith is next summer, we blow it all, we spend it on him.
Yeah.
And, I just think it's that we've been bad for so long that you have to strategically play this out.
Yep.
And I agree. I think a prove it two-way player, whether it is a Jaylen Brown type, obviously he's coming off of some struggles. Yeah. But I think he's to me, he's still proved that over the last couple of years that he's a great two-way player. And
yeah.
I think somebody that would probably fit well. Obviously, he's very Jaden Ivey-like, but I think he's not going to hurt another dude that can shoot that well, that can drive it, create his own shot.
I think he can play a little bit of the 3 too. Like, I think he could, kind of just. I think he could play all them together, and have some decent success. And I think he would be one of them guys. So like right now, he's kind of in Tatum's spotlight. So I think if he kind of has a little bit more of a green light, on a team like Detroit, I feel like that could be a pretty solid pick. But yeah,
I agree. I don't know the contract of it all, but
yeah,
if you can go sign Miles Bridges, would you do it?
Yeah, I take a look at Miles Bridges for sure. And
I agree.
You know what?
I agree with that.
And I think I want to take back my Jaylen Brown pick because then we have to pay him $300 million. So I don't know if that's going to be the best thing to do right now. But I think a player kind of like a Jaylen Brown, like a 1B, just somebody that I think they just kind of need like one more alpha to kind of be able to kind of pull them out of tough spots. Like right now, you got a lot of young guys that are barely even, probably getting to the airplane on time for road trips. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a very.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you. If the money's right, and assuming it's not nowhere near a max type deal, I'm with you on Jaylen. But I think that's probably what he would want, and probably could get that.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think if you could go out and get him, I don't know if Charlotte owns the rights or however that would work with that. But I think obviously I don't know what the legal back end of it is, but he has definitely paid his tithes to the league as far as not playing for the whole year. So if he's available and all that, I think he would. Talk about coming back motivated. Talk about a shot in the arm, a dude that probably shoots 35-38% from 3, could jump out the gym. I think
come back home.
I think he would fit very well on the squad. So I think that'd be somebody I would look at. And
so I'm just kind of looking at just a couple different players here right now. I mean, hell, Chris Middleton. Just if you want to try to get somebody that can get you a lot better quicker, I think that's somebody to maybe take a look at. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't be mad about a Harrison Barnes type pickup.
I'm mad at Harrison Barnes.
I'm looking Christian. We gave up Christian Wood and basically got somebody that does the same thing as Christian Wood, and then traded him. Talking about Jeremy Grant, but
I ain't mad at Karis LeVert.
Yeah, I think that'd be I think they just need get a better blend of like veteran leadership and just like young guys. Like I think if they could bring in like 3 to 4 like really, really solid veterans, like proven playoff
Steph
experience.
Curry.
Yeah. Shooter off the bench,
Yep.
like you come in, hit 2, 3 threes a game.
Lockdown D.
Yeah. Hell, I think a great one would be Grant Williams. Like,
Bring
I
him
think
back.
that would just, powerful, solid power forward, hit the open three, play defense. I mean, you watched him have a nice little run with Boston last couple of years. Um, yeah, there's some, like I said, there's no top dog out there. I wouldn't expect a top dog to come play for Detroit anyways, but I think there's some guys out there. If you can get two or three of the right kind of players, I
Yeah.
think that could, free agency alone could give us an extra 7 to 8 wins just based off of like, just depending on who we get.
All right, you want a veteran leadership? I got you. That guy Udonis Haslam on
Man, I wouldn't
there.
hate it.
Yeah.
I mean
As
that,
a player coach,
yeah,
he didn't even get a jersey. He just sit in a suit. Yeah.
yeah,
But
just be posted up and just tell people like, like yeah, don't be in Miami, but don't go out tomorrow. Like I think they just need, you know what I'm saying? Like they just need
yeah.
like them type of like players just to kind of keep. I mean, they got a lot of guys. I'm about to pull up the Pistons roster right now and just see like age, because that's like our biggest thing. I mean, you look, yeah, Wiseman 22, Ivy 21, Hayes 21, Cade 21, Bogdanovich 34, Duran 19. Don't turn 20 till late November. RJ Hampton 22, Marvin Bagley 24, Stewart 22, Livers 24. We got guys, like Alex Burks is still there. Got Corey Joseph. So those guys are solid. I think we just got to try to like
Mm-hmm.
address that next level. Like we got to upgrade. No offense to Alex Burks and Corey Joseph, we got to try to find a way to upgrade them type of players. You know what I'm saying? Just to give a little bit more like, um, I think just stability on the roster overall. But yeah, all these guys, like nobody that core, nobody was over 25.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
So good
Yeah.
problem to have. You just hope that we can might have to get off a couple of them, put those pieces around to try to, you know,
Right.
get that roster a little more win now ready.
Yes, I agree. And I think it keeps young guys involved mentally it's hard I can't imagine being 19 years old with 10 million in the bank.
Yeah.
We are currently 11 and 56 and I'm in Miami. Like
Yeah,
what?
you go to right. You go to Orlando, Miami. You hit Atlanta. Then you know what I'm saying. You're probably going to Texas and you know
Yeah,
playing in Houston like 2 nights later. Like it's tough, and I hope that Monty Williams can kind of be that that voice to like. I'm not saying we got a team full of people that's just running wild, like or anything like that, but there's definitely something there that needs to kind of happen just from like tightening up the roster a little bit and getting them, just getting the young bulls on track to just
right.
prioritize the right things and hopefully get some W's on the board next year.
No, sure. And I know we gonna try to drop on league. We're gonna drop on leagues every week until the draft comes up. I think the draft is the 22nd or maybe
Yep.
the 21st. So try to keep that good rotation up until that happens 3 weeks from now. And I
Yep.
think we're gonna definitely start coming with a little more draft prospects, people that we think we should try to target for that fifth pick. And every year, I think Jaden Ivey was the fifth pick last year, but every year there's obviously those all stars that are always drafted post first overall pick, and I think we just have
Yeah.
to find those diamonds in the rough, and I think they're there, and don't draft best available. I don't care
Yeah.
what he is, what position, just best available player because that's what you do on the worst team in the league. You can't be trying to sit there and say, well, we need this, we need that. You need talent,
Right.
and that talent travels. Regardless of what position they play, they'll make a difference. So that's kind of I know we're looking for. Got a couple guys we both like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of excited about that. It's always fun doing a little bit of research,
Yep.
and I think this draft in particular it was such a letdown, not getting that first pick. But I think there's a lot of talent in this draft, and I think. And I'm not wishing this upon him, but I think we might look back in a couple of years here and say, "Thank God we didn't get that first overall pick," because
Hey man.
I'll be willing to bet pretty strong there's going to be people drafted after him who have at least as good of careers. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he's a transcending of a player, and this might be chopped up on YouTube for 100 years, but who knows? I think
Freezing
I
cold
feel pretty.
takes. No, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you. I mean, we always talk about it like, I'm not. I take a. I hope he does well. I'm never mad. Taking a close look at the guy that played as a freshman at Villanova and was all freshman team. I mean, I think there's a lot of good guys in that top five range that played at high levels over this way in college that could definitely take a look at. And I feel like like you said, there are quite a few diamonds in the rough. G League guys, they got a lot of cats that
yeah.
that top 10.
I like the Taylor Hendricks.
Yep.
Played at Central Florida. This is obviously completely second round. Just I wouldn't be mad at. I mean, second round, I don't care. Go ahead and draft Bates if he's sitting there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
yeah, I think he's a guy that's gonna come to. He'll have a splash in the NBA. Period. I
Mm-hmm.
know that for an absolute fact. So I'm ready to look at it, find a couple more diamonds in the rough as far as people like that. Just maybe overlooked. And the whole other side, we can do a whole video on these G League guys and just how that effect on how this is all going to
Yes.
travel. So
Absolutely.
just to see a couple more years of that. Obviously Jalen Green turned out to be pretty good, very good. But just how frequently those, I'm blanking on what I'm trying to say, but just I guess the correlation between being good in the
How
G League and
they
working in the
translate.
NBA. Yeah,
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 because they're playing G League teams.
yep.
Um, and then and they're playing G League teams for like a good 6 to 8 months, and then after that, they go right to the draft. They're seeing guys that were in the league, as in some
Mm-hmm.
capacity at some point. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
some two-way
been a
players. Yeah,
nice
yeah.
pipeline. Get some
I
guys
agree.
like
So I just be
Kuminga.
interested to see that because if a couple more, let's say Scoot Hendricks works out, his stats look immaculate in the G League as well. So it's one of those things where okay, maybe these guys are going to be if they do anything like that, it's a surefire that they'll be good in the leagues. That'd be something just to kind of keep our eye on. There's just a few of those hovering around where that they could be the fifth pick, could be eighth pick that I'm kind of looking at a little bit. I just don't know how to measure it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
yeah. No, like I said, I ain't gonna be ever mad about taking a stab on somebody that's played college ball at a high level or somebody that's playing that G League at like a mid to high level. I think those are both over time have shown to be solid decisions for majority of teams overall. So
yeah, for sure. Good deal.
got
You got
anything
anything else?
else? Oh yeah, no, nothing else for the people. Like you said, we'll be tuning in next week after, touching on a lot of just players available around that 5 spot and just kind of digging in and analyzing their game and see how they fit, with this Pistons rotation. So
Yeah,
until
no,
next
for sure.
time.
We'll be back at you. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Peace.